So we're here with Elijah Bland, soulful artist. Elijah, tell me, are you in New York or where are you?
I'm in New York.
Okay, so are you a native New Yorker or are
Just
you
about. I'm from Hackensack, New Jersey. It's right across the George Washington Bridge.
okay?
So.
Well, then that's just as well.
Yeah.
I live in New York, and I'm from New York actually, and I lived in Jersey also. I live
Oh,
in
great.
Orange. I went to Barringer High School. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that area.
My best game in high school was against Barringer High School.
Ah, okay.
My career high was against Barringer High.
That's probably 10 years after my years. So,
Maybe, but that's
but anyhow, understand um, that you have a lot of music projects going on. I listen to your music, and I mean, you got a different sound than a lot of other artists that's out there.
Oh,
So,
now I finally found someone who understands me. I finally found a reason to be the man I can be.
so you're really good. But what makes you good? What do you do that makes you different from everybody else? You
well, I'd say that I can definitely say I'm multi-talented, and I've been blessed with a lot of gifts creatively, artistically. I'm a musician first, so I play mainly piano. I've been playing since I was about 5 years old, and picked up other instruments along the way. So I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, musician, an actor, voiceover artist. I do a little bit of everything. So I think all those things kind of lend themselves to what I do artistically, and what you hear in my music is I have my hands on all of it.
Now, how long you been in the doing all the singing and writing and producing and all this stuff? How long you been?
I started seriously with it in college. I was an athlete first, which I kind of brushed over, but I played college basketball, so I was doing that, and I had a teammate who my freshman year he was a senior, and we played the same position.
Mm.
I was playing behind him. He'd kick my butt in practice every day, and we'd go to his dorm room afterwards and work on some music because he had a home recording set up, and he didn't play anything. So I would play like keyboard parts on his songs, and he was kind of teaching me the software. And it was something I always kind of wanted to do, but never knew how to get into it. So we did that and started writing some songs and working on some things. And so once he graduated, I got my own little setup. And in my dorm room, outside of class and basketball, I was my free time that I work on music. And then I got into working with some local artists. I went to school in Massachusetts, and I was just some local artists doing some rappers and singers, a reggae artist, and they needed some production. So I was working on the production side and songwriting for the R&B artists. And one day the engineer that we were recording with, he said, why don't you do your own stuff? Because some of these references you're doing for the R&B artists sound a lot of times better than the stuff that is recorded. So why don't you do your own stuff? I was like, no, I don't want to stay in the background and just write and produce. And he hit me again about it. He said, man, why don't you come in and do some stuff? And so I tried it and recorded a couple songs, and people liked it. And, it kind of, I guess it was bitten by the bug of being an artist. And I never really saw myself that way and thought of it like that. But I knew I had something to say that I wasn't really hearing on the radio or hearing in other artists. And I'm one of many, many people who have something to say. So I said, why not me? And went ahead and recorded an album, which was an underground project called Just Me, that at the time I was just using my first initials, so it was E Bland. Mm-hmm. And I just put that out by myself. I literally, recorded, wrote, produced everything top to bottom. And
you were learning the artistry and the business side of making music at the same time.
Yeah. So it was really a crash course in everything related to that, and I just put it out on the platforms that at the time were available. Thank God for the internet, because I didn't have any budget or a label or anything to reach anybody. So that was the launch pad of the artist side of me.
Mm.
and it was well received. And a year later, I put out a new project and had some collaborations with established artists in the indie soul world, and that was well received. And it just kind of grew from there. Michael Baisden at the time had his big radio show, and
Uh-huh.
put one of my singles on his show, and I went on the
Okay.
segment,
Which
the B
single
side. Say it again.
which single was it?
I was called Talk to Me.
So yeah, I listened to that earlier.
There you go.
Yeah, I listened to like three or four while I had the chance.
It's
So
awesome.
really good. That was really, really good. And
Nice. Thank you.
with a female artist, Ashley something.
Sarah Ashley was on the intro.
That was go
She was
ahead.
on the intro for Soul Centric, and then I did a duet with Wayna, who's based in D.C.
Right, I didn't hear that one yet.
Yeah. Oh, you'll enjoy that, I'm sure.
When I get back to my other office, I would definitely listen to the remainder of the vocals that you have on there.
Excellent.
What genre of music do you categorize your style?
I'd say R&B soul, simply. I mean, every artist is like, I don't want to be boxed in and all that. When it's on iTunes, it's got to say something. So I'd say R&B soul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's next on your project list? What do you got going on? You working on a new album, or you working on?
I am. I'm working on a new album. Released a single last year and another one just recently that are being well received and building momentum for that. So working on a new album. I'm also an actor, so I've been doing different projects with that. I just did a really cool project, commercial for Porsche, which I'm excited about seeing that when it's done. And doing a play in July, little things in New York to keep things moving. But yeah, I'm excited about the new album because it's been a while since I put out a full-length project, and people are waiting for it and asking for it, and I'm looking forward to making some noise with it. So.
To go back to, it says that you're a gifted actor, and you said that you had some projects. You said you're working with Mercedes Benz or something. Is it
Porsche? I just did a commercial for them, and
okay?
yeah, that was really cool.
Projects.
Yeah, I'm working on. I did a couple of short films last year. One of them is going to be in a film festival coming up. I believe it's in 2 weeks.
Okay.
The African Diaspora Film Festival. It's here in New York.
Yeah, we know we go there. African diaspora.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So, it was a really dark role that was, challenging as an actor, but.
Okay. So you have commercials that you're working on. You said you have a play that you're working on. Any upcoming film projects that you're going to be doing?
Not that I know of. I mean, I'm auditioning and on the artist grind in New York City. So it's it's always something that could happen, might happen, about to happen. But I'm in the mix. So.
What artists have you produced for?
This man, nobody you probably know.
Well, just spit it out. You never know. It's a small world.
Well, I've mostly done my own stuff for the last. Really, the serious projects I've worked on is my own music. I've collaborated with some artists that. It's an artist named Pretty Boy, who was a reggae artist out of Massachusetts, and a couple of R&B artists that were on that small label at the time. But I'm really looking to do more of that because I haven't really done a lot of outside projects since focusing on building my own brand and finding the sound. So I'm looking into doing more of that than I have before.
Okay. Now you have shared stages with a lot of known artists.
Yeah.
Can you name a few?
Some of the favorites. I mean, one of my best and favorite performance memories was the Capitol Jazz Super Cruise, and which was packed with all kinds of different artists. So I mean, Gerald Albright was one, and one of the most impactful conversations I've ever had was sitting down to dinner with he and his wife and just talking about being artists. And I'm thinking, I'm just little guy, independent artist, working on a couple albums, and he's put out 20 records, and I'm, but we're all artists just talking as musicians. And Layla Hathaway was on the ship. Algebra Blessed, she was one of the more well-known independent artists there. And Dombey, that year, I mean, Eric Roberson was always around, Dwele, Boney James, the late great George Duke. That was one of the last things he did, and so it was that was really a blessing.
Oh, okay. I know I said last question like 2 times.
Keep them coming.
It's always popping up when I get ready to close out. It was something about singing, and when you said, I mean, when did you start singing? Actually, when did you know you can sing?
You know, I really didn't know I could sing until high school.
Oh,
I'd done some stuff when I was a child.
mm-hmm.
Like, there was a theater arts program. I remember when I was going into 6th grade. It was in the summer. It was actually a summer arts program with all kinds of different arts, and there was a theater section. And I got the lead role in the little musical we were doing. And so that was then, and that was at 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so in between there and high school, my voice changed, my body changed. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not the same little voice that was there before. So I never really pursued singing during that time.
Oh, okay.
It was all about school and basketball. And I went to, it was actually in New York, we took a class trip to it was the Black Expo at the Jacob Javits Center.
Mm-hmm.
And they had WBLS, the radio station had a karaoke booth, and I sang I Want You Back by Jackson 5 with a friend of mine.
Where you then?
And we were messing around. And
were you a kid or you were in high school?
This was in high school. So, and I hadn't really sung anything seriously anywhere. So I just, you know, messing around. I'm still a musician, and I'm around it. And I started singing and got really into it. And people were like, we didn't know you could sing like that. And I said, I didn't either. So
goodness, that
kind of started. And so that was right before then I went to college and got into writing and recording a little bit. And so that's when I really discovered, wait a minute, I do have a voice. Let me try to nurture this. And that has been, you know, I heard a quote in the new Miles Davis movie. Where he said it takes years to play like yourself.
Right.
And that has really been my journey, and I feel like I'm still on that journey and just finding the sound and really feel like I'm sounding like, singing like, playing like me.
I wanted to ask, if you had to work with, who would be your favorite artist to work with, to produce or collaborate any type of music with? That'd be, I know you probably got something.
Well, yeah, honestly, I mean, it's just probably going to sound cliche at this point, but my number one up until a few weeks ago was Prince.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, that was always an ideal. I would say living artist now, Layla Hathaway.
Layla Hathaway. And why would you pick her?
I see, to me, any production or writing a song, I see vocals as another instrument. And she is, to me, the epitome of someone who uses her voice as an instrument.
Okay.
And it's just, I feel like the possibilities are endless, and it's a much more enriching creative process working with someone who is that prolific with their instrument.
Okay. Can you give our audience your shout out information, your email, your website address or whatever you want to do, how they can get in contact with you by hashtag or Twitter or Facebook or whatever?
Absolutely. ElijahBland.com is the website, ElijahBland. And Twitter and Instagram is at Elijah Bland, my name just spelled out as it is. And on Facebook, it's facebook.com/eBlandSoul.